So I took the plunge and decided to start playing Battlefield 4. And as you may have seen in the single player review that I did before, I explained that the game doesn't particularly work very well single player wise because of certain broken things. Well, the multiplayer doesn't have the same issues. It has different issues though. It has issues such as the server shutting down after a map change and you being disconnected, or the random black screen crashes that happen very occasionally. All of which are frustrating, but not particularly game ending. What I have found about this game, though, is that the people that play it, for the most part, are decent people. They enjoy playing the game to the best of their ability. I do think that the crowd is probably a lot better than the Call of Duty crowd that play, because you find a different type of person that plays it, except you do find certain people who will still be dicks because that's the way the human population works. They just can be complete dicks. That's just the way it is. On the other hand, when you actually take the game at its basic form, you'll notice that graphically it isn't as amazing as people keep saying it is. As far as I'm concerned, the graphics are only slightly better than Battlefield 3. There has not been many massive changes to the HUD system or any of the kind of graphic situations, in the sense that the physics seem to work the same sort of way. Obviously there is a bit more destruction. Obviously there is the levolution side of things, where the levels will change according to disasters that you initiate or players initiate. These are rather tedious and pathetic as far as I'm concerned. They don't really do much other than annoy people. You find that the maps themselves are fairly varied, but they share the same concept as a lot of the previous maps from Battlefield 3, in the sense that they all have some features that are exactly the same to others of Battlefield 3. The weapon systems seem improved to a certain degree. I mean, although the footage you're seeing is of just normal footage, the server is on normal mode. You'll also I found that when you play on hardcore servers, the realism is actually quite up to date. The ballistic system seems to match what you'd expect when you shoot somebody in the head. Whereas in this, you're spending 2 or 3 bullets. In the hardcore mode, you only spend 1, maybe 2 at most, which I think is a fantastic kind of plus to the game. But finding those hardcore servers and the servers that I enjoy, which mainly is infantry only type servers, it's quite hard to come by. I found a couple which I've moved and played on quite a lot. I've played quite a lot of this game as well. If I just see how much time I've actually played on it, I've played 18 hours of it. Which gives me a good idea of what the game's all about. So I have a little bit of experience in this game itself. In terms of how I actually feel about the game, well, I need to talk to you about a system that I've always felt has been one of the most pointless system additions to the Battlefield genre, and that is the Battlelog system. Now, Battlelog, if you don't know what it is it's the website where all the stats are based, but it's also the website that actually allows you to play the game. Without Battlelog, you can't actually play this game, which to me seems rather pathetic, because you take the old Battlefield, say Battlefield 2 for instance, or if you want to go to the Call of Duty route, you go to Call of Duty, the last one, or the one that's currently coming in to be released fairly soon. You'll find that these actually have a server browser when you start the game. They have an executable that you can press, and it allows you to play the game. Which it seems quite a strange system to have an executable and actually want to play the game. You press the button and then you play the game. Instead, with Battlefield, you actually have to go onto a website. You then have to make sure that you've got a plugin installed, you've got the game installed. On top of this, you have to have Origin installed as well, which is where you probably bought the game in the first place. You've got to then make sure that Punkbuster is installed. You also have to make sure that the settings are correct. The only way you could do the settings of the game is to actually launch the game and change the settings in-game. There's no actual settings launcher, as it were, which would be quite nice. That you could have a launcher that launches the settings, so you can change the settings about, so when the next time you start the game, the settings will run optimally. I find this tedious, and I find it frustrating, and I'm rather annoyed that it seems that Battlefield wants to do its own thing, and it wants to be very individual, and it annoys me intensely that they can't seem to just have it the same way everyone else does. They want to be different, and that really, really annoys me intensely. The fact that this difference causes so many problems, because the website has to work for the game to work, and the game has to work for the website to have to work. So if one of them breaks down, say the website breaks down, you can't play the game completely. There is no way to play the game. Yet if the game doesn't work, you won't know that until you visit the website and you press the play button and it doesn't work. I feel that the game itself it requires this website, this battle log, to function, and you should never, when you build a game, you should never require the game to only function when you've got a website that comes with it. It seems you're putting all your eggs in the same basket, and you could technically fail badly from doing this. Anyway, let's move on to something more pleasant. The game modes themselves are quite decent. This game mode that we're playing now is the Domination game mode, where it's similar to the Call of Duty Domination, where you sit on the points and you take the points and you move to points to points, and it's quicker than Conquest mode. Conquest mode in Battlefield 4 is exactly the same as it was in Battlefield 3. Bad Company 2, it just feels exactly the same. It's very monotonous, and I find it incredibly boring. The new game modes, Obliteration and Domination, and I think there's one called Diffuse. I haven't played much of Diffuse. The game themselves are the types of the games that they are varied enough to be different and to be quite enjoyable. I particularly like the Domination and the Obliteration. I also really like the Rush mode, which is an old game type, but it seems a little bit more refined. It opens up map after map, so you get an idea of how big the maps are, which are fairly big in Battlefield. The Battlefield way, as it were. In terms of weapons and in terms of the ballistic system, there is bullet drop, obviously, if you have a sniper rifle. It's not as severe as a Battlefield 3. I think it's improved quite a lot. More realistic as far as I'm concerned. The guns themselves, they've got plenty of unlocks and all this sort of stuff. There's the introduction of battle packs, which give you a chance to actually unlock other things, other attachments that you may not have available for your weapons. You may not even have the weapons available to use the attachments, so it seems a bit counterintuitive sometimes. I don't even know if that even works in that sentence, but whatever. Battle packs, I thought, was going to be the pay-to-win aspect of the game. Turns out that you can get the battle packs anyway. You can get them when you level up. There is no way of buying the battle packs unless you buy the premium. Then the premium comes with a premium battle pack, I think it's, or three premium battle packs, which just have the premium aspect things, the dog tags and the a couple of skins, you know, camouflage skins and all that sort of stuff, and a variety of different little things, unlockables as it were. But every time you get to a second rank, i.e. an even rank, you will find that you can unlock a battle pack, and you get little attachments like the scope or the or something that you attach to your weapon. Ladders are still as annoying as before. You find that they just don't seem to work as you want them to work. I guess ladders is just one of those things. I was very lucky there. I've got 1 health. That's quite nice, isn't it? Anyway, so I better give a kind of a resolution to this video. I enjoyed this game, but I was finding it very difficult to love the game, or to really like the game, because of a multitude of factors. The issues that we had to begin with in terms of crashing and all that sort of stuff, that is completely indicative of having a new game. New games almost always come with problems. There's no way of doing anything else other than having problems. That's just the way it is. It's the way it always has been when it comes to games and such. What I find kind of annoying most of all is the battle log system. The game itself, once you get into the game, it turns out to be a fairly decent, enjoyable experience, as long as you found the right server. If you find the right server, then I can imagine people starting to love this game more and more. In terms of innovation and new things, there is nothing new about Battlefield 4 that sets it apart from any of the other Battlefield games. There is nothing at all that sets it apart from any of the other Battlefield games, other than the fact that it looks a little bit better and some of the system is a little bit different. That's it. There's almost nothing else. And it disappoints me a little bit, because they've spent all this time and they've spent all this money on making this new Battlefield, yet it just doesn't feel the same. You know, it doesn't feel new and refreshing. It feels drag and kind of boring in certain areas of the game. I can't imagine that this is going to keep my interest for more than a few more days before I finally realise that I'm wasting my time and that I'm not really getting anywhere and I'm not really enjoying it as much as I should be. Because that's my that's my main issue, really, is the fact that I'm not particularly enjoying the game as much as I want to. And that's what my apprehension about playing the game in the first place was. The fact that it is addictive. There is no way, shape or form about that. This game is addictive, and I do still have that feel of wanting to play and play and play and play. But my main issue is that it won't stay that way. It won't keep my interest for long. And I know that already. I can feel it. I could feel the interest waning. I'll be playing less and less. What I do love about this game is the kind of the weapon system, in the sense that the way you configure your weapon and you set the components for your weapon up, the scope and the handle and the ammo type in certain cases, the camouflage, the kind of infantry pack that you can set yourself. This one, for instance, is a stealth pack. You can see it above the names of the people in my squad. When you do squad-based things, you get bonuses at each level of the way, and I think these are pretty good in the sense they give you a little bit of a buff. They give you a buff for being a team, being a squad, and that's something that I quite like. That's probably one of the main differences to the game, which I think is an improvement based on Battlefield 3. Also, you notice that if you hover over a a point with your reticule, you'll notice that sometimes they have a little bit of a little icon next to them. This is for the commanders, because the commanders have been reintroduced it to the game, which allow them to do UAVs and deploy gunships and do all kinds of weird, fabulous stuff. Cruise missiles and such, and that adds an extra layer to it, but they're only really used on bigger servers, 64-man servers, a Conquest Large type gameplay where there's a lot of vehicles and a lot of action, and the game lasts for 30, 40, 50 minutes, depending on how equal the teams are. And in general, commanders are a quite useful asset. But you get what I'm saying. Commanders the same sort of function they had in Battlefield 2 when the commanders were available for Battlefield 2, which I think is pretty good. I do like the selection of different equipment that you can have for each of your classes. I have only really been playing Recon. I've unlocked the carbine and the shotgun weapons for the other classes, because you can use them with different classes. So you can use a Recon class, but you can have a carbine weapon, which is the one I'm using at the moment. It's not a bad carbine weapon. You rank up the carbine weapons which unlock. Instead of using your Recon to unlock certain weapons, the Recon kind of tab is used to unlock all the gadgets and such, whereas the weapon itself is a class of its own, and that unlocks other weapons. So for instance, if you want to level up a sniper rifle, you keep using a sniper rifle, and after about, I think it's 100 kills or something silly, you get the next weapon in the group, and you continue from there. Other than that, there's not much else that I can really say about this game. I've lost sleep over this game. It's sad to say that it is, but when I've played more than 3 or 4 hours in a sitting, I find that I can't really concentrate on, in fact, anything else for a long period of time. I have to kind of relax and get rid of, stop talking and stop thinking about the game and just like relax. And it is an issue that I have had in the past with certain games, where I can't seem to shut off my brain when I go to bed. I'll explain about that in a little vlog that I'll have prepared after this video goes live. But other than that, there's not much else that could be explained about this game other than the fact that it's a very enjoyable game for a short period of time. It will not keep my interest, and that's just the way it is. Anyway, I'll leave you with the last couple of minutes of gameplay. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope I haven't blabbered on enough as much, and I hope I've given you an idea of what the fuck this game's all about. And I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.
I've got a visual on an enemy sniper east of your pods.